Hey guys, so here's the Monday's workout. After like 5 minutes of reverse farmers walks with kettlebells in my hands, which is actually also a part of the knees over toes program, I moved into those dense step ups. And actually, out of the knees over toes program, these step ups are the most challenging for me because of my injured left leg. Following this was Nordics. I didn't film those because it is a very chaotic setup at my home, so I just filmed those reverse Nordics here. Both of those exercises came in 5 times 5 repetitions in 5 minutes each, so that's quite intense. And as you see in this reverse Nordics version here, I can't barely hold up my knees from lifting from the floor, so there's a lot of more work to do. I continued with the large or the big set of the 12 basic hand methods of Yizong Bagua. You know all these exercises, so you might just move along, 10 repetitions to each side on each, and I just filmed a couple. So right now I just put the camera up and then afterwards I cut to make it a little more interesting and not film the whole thing. Well, actually, I'm filming the whole thing, but I'm not showing the whole thing. Would be super boring. So just a few of those basic hand methods. You all know them. Keep practicing those. They are great for opening up the body as well as the biomechanics behind those hands. Now there was Xiantian Day on Mondays, and I always try to focus on 2 different palm changes. So in this case, it's focus on the dragon palm change. So I like to do those in sets as well. Did 3 sets of 5 repetitions to each side. So 30 reps on the dragon palm change before I started my circle walking. And this is where I usually focus on the second palm change. And this was the snake. In this case, I was starting off with a little bit of Xia walking just to remember and reset on the 2 internal cues of lengthening and sinking. That's the topic of those weeks right now in school. So I also work on those 2 cues in private, of course. So after a little bit of walking in the Xia'an posture and really refocusing on lengthening and sinking, I did about 20 minutes of regular circle walking, just focusing on the small frame snake smooth body palm. Kind of changing after every 50 steps here. Just a very basic practice. So when I say I focus only on the on the snake smooth body palm, it means that when I walk the circle here for 20 minutes, I only change direction with this palm change. In this case, like I said, the snake smooth body palm. The next day, this will be different palm changes. So I make sure I hit each and every palm change at least once per week with a good amount of repetitions. They all play different muscle groups. They all play very different biomechanics. So in my case, as I've learned them and practiced them for such a long time, it's basically revisiting. But for a beginner or someone who learns the system, of course, it's more important to drill them, to learn them first carefully through the courses or in classes or workshops, and then really spend the time on increasing the volume and increasing the intensity. But once you've learned them, it's basically maintenance work. Of course, what you do is you want to always refocus on the internal cues, but the forms, more or less stay the same after a while. Of course, everything gets dialed in much deeper into your system and they feel much better after a while. But after 15 years, there's no much more change really happening on the outside. It's basically all internal work from here. So today, snake smooth body palm focus, and that will change tomorrow. Afterwards, again, after the circle walking, it was time for a little bit of a standing meditation, 下安式 in this case. Again, we do the standing meditation in class right now, focusing on lengthening and sinking. So I did the same thing, focusing on the internal cues of lengthening and sinking, but I did this with the first of our 八木章, the 下安式 posture, as you will see in a bit. The Xian posture is one that I like really a lot, because you can not only focus really well on the basic cues, because there is no pain, no strain at all. It's a very comfy position to stand in. And at the same time, you add another cue, which is the downward pressing from the center of your palms, and the image that your hands are floating on top of water, which is a very, very nice sensation in your hands. And it totally helps to lengthen the spine and to focus on that elongation, and at the same time on the sinking through the legs and into the ground. And the pressing downward with the palms really help with the lengthening cue. It's like standing in a swimming pool, putting your hands on the floor and then pressing down to get out of the swimming pool. That's another image which is really helpful, I think. Changing here and then returning. To another 10 minutes of standing in 下安式 posture. So that's Monday's work. And I hope you get some inspiration out of it and you'll keep practicing. Have a nice day and see you again next week.